Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. For the people that watched this morning's video and the people that watched yesterday's video, it's not a surprise because you already knew who the guest was. You see him already next to me. Buongiorno, buon pomeriggio, Romeo Agresti. Welcome back.
Bonjour, mon ami. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. Thanks.
Thank you for accepting the invite. I'm super happy because for the season 23-24, you were not yet on my channel, so it's always nice. Today I want to speak, of course.
Are you sure, mate? Yeah. Maybe that's true.
Hey. No, the thing is that we talk to each other a lot. WhatsApp, message here, there. So it looks like we are in contact every day, but on the channel, not yet.
You know why? Because I'm a little bit shy.
No, you don't have to be shy. You know that the people, ragazzi, in the chat, maximum of likes for Romeo Agresti on the channel. Romeo, I want to speak about three things. The first one is off the field, because you did a fantastic interview. I want to come back on that. 2, on the field, because we already played 2 games. And 3, of course, mercato.
Mercato. We want to talk every day about mercato.
The first thing, I really wanted to congratulate you because you did a fantastic interview with Mike and Marco, leaders of communication and marketing of Juventus. I will put the link into the description, ragazzi. You can really go for it. It's in English and it's really beautiful. 20-30 minutes interview about Juventus Creator Lab, because it's inside Juventus Creator Lab, that I really appreciated, about future plans. My first question is not about mercato, but your first general impression of the project of your interview. How was the project of Juve, Future Creator Lab, all the videos, the content that they are doing? That's my first question for you.
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank Mike Armstrong and Marco Castellaneta, because they gave me the opportunity to go to their headquarters, the Juventus Training Center. It was unbelievable because I had the opportunity to understand what it means to work for the Juventus Creator Lab. This project is already a big project with unbelievable numbers. That means that the guys who were involved in this project, they are working in the right way. So I had the opportunity to talk with them for around 20-25 minutes, and it was really interested to understand the strategy behind, for example, back on track, the topic regarding the recovering by Federico Chiesa after his injury, but also the strategies behind TikTok, Instagram. So this is a big word, and there are a lot of people that they work every day to push in the right way their contents for Juventus. And usually I talk about Juventus stuff in terms of mercato or just on the pitch, but I had the opportunity to change my modus operandi for one day, and in that interview with Mike and Marco, I understand really how Juventus is really super in terms of digital, and they are doing a very good and solid job, and I think that they want to improve. They want to improve, and they will do it. I'm absolutely sure that they will put out during the new season new important content for the audience, for the fans.
Do you think after the interview, after everything that they explained, because here we are really speaking about a kind of media house, Creator Lab, it's just content, and if you are watching the interview, I will not spoil everything because I want the audience to look and to watch by themselves, but they're really speaking about things that are not always related to football. Sometimes it's a story about a footballer, sometimes it's a story about, women footballer that I had the pleasure to interview, Gunnarsdottir, speaking about pregnancy and mother. We saw a lot of these documentaries. Dauda Peters, one of the last one. TikTok, they are also saying sometimes that just a text on Twitter, a message, has an importance. Is it a good strategy to focus on these kind of things, or do you think that you are forgetting a bit about the field if you are taking care too much about that?
The world is changing, the journalism is changing, and it's time for Juventus to do what they have done in the last 2 or 3 years. If we talk about Juventus Creator Lab, we talk about a successful project because, for example, to create back on track, you need the time, you need the brainstorming, you need to be original. And Mike, Marco, Mattia Fontana, and the other guys involved in this big team, every day they try to do something important and something different, because I think, and that's true, that Juventus are the best team in Italy in terms of digital so far.
I agree.
I had the opportunity to watch the story regarding Peters. Beautiful, amazing work. Marco da Graca on TikTok, amazing work. And what they did with Den Huysen, amazing work. So this job is very, very original, and I think that especially the new generation want story on Instagram, on TikTok, especially on TikTok. Now Juventus are pushing on this platform, and we are just at the beginning, because I can't do spoiler, but I know very well that Juventus will put out other original contents in the coming month, and I want to say that you are part of this project, because you are the official host of Juventus on Twitch, so you are part of the Juventus Creator Lab. So congrats to you, Leandro, the other guys, because you are doing a very beautiful job.
Juve played against Milan. Juve plays against Real Madrid. We just finished the USA tour. Tomorrow we started training again. A quick question about what you saw in these two games. Your impression. Did Juventus change something? Did you see a bit of differences? What is the impression of the Calcio d'Estate that you saw at the moment?
It's different, the mood, because now, fortunately, we have to talk just about pitch stuff. Yeah. Because in the last season we talked about other stories. Now we have to be focused just on what Juventus will do on the field, and this is the most important thing. I had the opportunity to watch both friendly matches, and I have to say that I'm pleased. I'm pleased because, especially against Real Madrid in the first half, I watched something impressive in terms of mentality, identity, the desire to do the match, to score, the counter-attack. Then, of course, it's normal to suffer against Real Madrid, because their midfield was created by, if I remember well, Modric,
Camavinga,
Bellingham. So it's not easy to play against these kind of players, but Juventus scored 3 goals, especially, as I said, in the first half. We watched solid things, and against Milan as well. Of course, there were some issues in the defense during their 2 goals, but I think that, for example, I was very impressed by Weah performance.
Yeah, indeed.
I think that it could be the perfect one to replace Juan Cuadrado. Then I think that Cambiaso did very well in both matches.
I agree.
The young Nicolussi. I want to talk about Nicolussi Caviglia.
On my paper, the first name is Nicolussi.
Yeah. Hans is an unbelievable guy. I interviewed him in the last season when he was in the first part of the season at Südtirol. Top guy, top player. He was unlucky during his career because he had
the injury.
Very, very bad injury. But now he's come back stronger, and I think that he will go out on loan, maybe at Salernitana. After we'll discuss about that. But he played very well. So I think that we are creating the right mix between young players and experienced players, and I feel that there is a big enthusiasm.
I give 2 words of the USA tour. Enthusiasm, that is different, because at the end, except of Weah, Cambiaso, it's the same players. So the enthusiasm, that is different, and intensity, a different intensity. But we saw it in the words of Locatelli, Milik, Miretti, Bremer, in Gazzetta and Tuttosport. They were all saying the same. Max Allegri asked us intensity. Am I right with the word intensity?
I think so, because when I was in Ibiza, I had a phone call during the night, but that was night in the LA.
With David Guetta.
Yeah. Yeah. I spoke to a source who told me, Romeo, look, the squad is doing very well in terms of intensity, in terms of concentration. So they want to do a very big season. I don't know if we'll do or not a big season, but I think that the attitude is the right attitude to start in the right way this year. I want to understand what will happen during the last weeks of this transfer window, because it's important to understand the strategies, if Juventus will be able or not to improve their team, their squad. But we have to play just in 2 competitions, domestic competitions. So I think that the squad is already good to try to compete to win. It's impossible to say right now Juventus will be included in the short list to win the Scudetto. I don't know. But I think that we can live a different season and we can stay at the top. You see.
So with today's team, without new entry, without new exit, of course, I'm thinking about the big names. You believe that Juventus can compete for the Scudetto?
Yeah, for example, if we lost Chiesa or...
but that's another story.
I don't want to mention Vlahovic because we have understand that if you go out of Vlahovic, we replace him with Lukaku. So it's an important player, Lukaku. But if we'll not lost Bremer or Chiesa or, I don't know, Danilo, I think that we'll be able to compete to stay at the top.
The people on the chat, because I asked them, a Telegram group and also on YouTube, can you already start giving me questions for Romeo? Some of them, they describe this mercato from Juventus, like the most depressing mercato ever from Juventus, because nothing is happening. Okay. I want to come back on how much Juventus was impacted by the penalization of last year, because I try to explain it every single day. It's not an excuse, but it's a reality. And I believe that you can maybe explain it better. What we are seeing today, l'immobilismo, that means Juventus staying still. Is it because of last year, or you think there is something else why Juventus is not moving?
You said that. That's the true story. You are very impacted because will not play in the Champions League. So no money. Impossible to buy certain players.
Attractivity? You lose attractivity as a...
I don't think so, because I think that Juventus are always Juventus, one of the best club in the world, the best club in Italy in terms of tradition, story. But especially during this transfer window with the Arabia Saudita, that they bought players with unbelievable money, we are not part of the Premier League, the best league in the Europe. So we are in a different period, and without Champions League, it's impossible to compete to buy the best players. For this reason, you have to look at the opportunities, that you have to push on the youth sector, on the young players. You have to hope that the young players, they will become important for the first team and maybe for their national teams. So it's different. It's completely different. We have to understand that. But to be honest, in May, I understand very well that the situation was clear. So I'm not depressed at all.
Giuntoli, they all said the same.
Yeah, they always say the same. At the moment, we bought just one player, Timothy Weah, with Facundo, that tomorrow morning will undergo his medical test with Juve, and then he will go out maybe to Salerno. But that's the Juventus 2023-2024. So we see what will happen in the last 2 weeks of August, but the same. I think we will talk about the same team, but with this team, as I said, we can try to compete to win the title.
Ale, dai, now it's time to ask you the big question that all the people are waiting for. Romelu Lukaku. It's heating up. Even in the last hours, it's heating up. Contract already all okay with Lukaku. Today they are saying, the rumors, that apparently Chelsea even found an agreement on the salary of Dusan Vlahovic. A lot of talks with Corriere dello Sport pushing, since really the first one, pushing on that Lukaku news. I will ask you two questions. One, where are we? Is it right? Is it not right? So the journalist part, and then the opinion part. The opinion part is it as crazy as people are saying? Because people are really going depressive. They don't want Lukaku because people are saying he's overrated, he's a finished player. You know, a lot of negative talks about Lukaku. So two questions. First, the journalist, and to the opinion.
So Juventus and Chelsea are still continuing to talk, and I think that in the coming days we'll understand really if they will be able to do the swap deal or not. Of course, Juventus wants more money because Vlahovic is younger than Lukaku, but that's true that Juventus with Lukaku, they done everything, but still pending the deal, the agreement with Chelsea. So sources very close to Chelsea told me in the last days that Maurizio Pochettino will be the key of this potential swap deal. If he will say yes, maybe Chelsea will find an agreement very soon with Juventus. He will say no. We'll see what will happen. So
even for the request of Juve of 50 million euro,
Juventus wants around 50 million euros, but I don't think that Chelsea will put on the table this money.
What is the max, or what is the minimum that Juventus can say, okay? Is it 20? Is it 30?
No, 20 is very low. No, I think if you ask 50, then you can ask 14. But 20, I don't think so. But next week will be important to understand if that swap deal will be okay or not. And then my personal opinion, I think that Lukaku could be an upgrade for Allegri, for his idea in terms of attack. So if Lukaku will sign for Juventus, he will score immediately, I will not surprise at all, because he scored a lot of goals in his career. The doubt is regarding his attitude, because he's not going to stay at the same club for more than 2-3 years. It's not easy to manage in the right way his character. And my idea is that maybe if we keep Dusan Vlahovic, is better. But we have to understand that when you have as coach Massimiliano Allegri, you have to try to create the best team following his idea of football, his style of football. And
so do I understand it well that, according to your opinion, we're really talking about the tactical side, so compatibility, Lukaku, Allegri, or is that the main driver, or is it financially the driver? Is it maybe that Juventus, they are scared about the physical condition with la pubalgia of Vlahovic? What is the main driver?
All those elements.
So there is not one more than the other.
Injury, but you know that Juventus were interested in signing Lukaku when they tried to do the swap deal with Paulo Dybala, so a few years ago. That means there is a good relationship with this player. But Juventus have changed a lot. Now Cristiano Ronaldo is not anymore our player, but Romelu Lukaku, he knows very well the Serie A, Italy, how to score. Of course, if you look the age, maybe it's better. It could be better to keep Vlahovic. But as I said, I think that if Lukaku will sign for Juventus, immediately it will be an upgrade for the Bianconeri. Of course, Vlahovic will do beautiful things in the present, in the future. I don't think, to be honest, that Chelsea is the right next step for him, because I don't know. Now we have to understand.
Which would be the just tactically,
Bayern Monaco,
Yeah.
Monaco, Real Madrid. I can say Paris Saint-Germain without Kylian Mbappé, but no, Chelsea, they will not play in Europe like Juventus. They will not compete for the title because, my personal opinion, Man City, Arsenal, and Manchester United are more
They are
amazing.
ahead. They are ahead.
Yeah, they are ahead. So I don't know. Then Chelsea have bought Jackson from Villarreal, and is doing a very beautiful preseason. So that's not sure that will go up there and will be in the starting 11. It's a big risk for him, and he can't to take the wrong next step for his career.
No, indeed. You need really to think, because from Fiorentina to Juve is a fantastic upgrade, fantastic step. But in 18 months, due to pubalgia, due to whatever that we already said, he didn't perform as we all wanted, and also as he wanted. So the next, he needs to be really sure.
For example, 1 year ago, we were talking about Vlahovic as one of the best number 9 in the world. We were saying that the first was, of course, Haaland, and then there was Lewandowski, Vlahovic, Benzema. Now, when we discuss about Dusan Vlahovic, we are not talking anymore.
It's true.
In terms of this point of view. So, I don't know, but that's true that in these days we understand if Juventus and Chelsea will do or not this swap deal.
Deadline, do you believe? The deadline to say...
No deadline.
Yes?
No deadline.
We can continue until the 31st of August, you think?
Talks ongoing until the end. I understand very well doing this job that when we talk about deadline, we talk about bullshit.
Yeah.
Because now I can say Juventus and Chelsea, we can decide to put as the last day of the next week as the deadline for this swap deal. But then that's not true. That's not true, because maybe they will find agreement on the 24th of August. So it's impossible to talk about deadline.
A lot of people, when they heard Lukaku, when they heard Chiesa, even hashtag Giuntoli out. He already started with Cristiano Giuntoli. But to go back seriously, what is the first impression of Cristiano Giuntoli that you had? Press conference, but also his first days at Juve, and maybe also the question people were expecting names a la Mikau Datse from second division in France, or Wahi, or the new Kvaratskhelia, and they don't hear them. So people are starting to get nervous. So what are your points on that?
Guys, we must be calm, because Cristiano Giuntoli started working at Juventus around 1 month ago.
7th of July.
He needs time. He needs very, very time. He knows very well what he has to do at Juventus. Don't forget that he did something beautiful between Carpi and Napoli. We are talking about the currently sporting director, Campione d'Italia. So calm, because we understand his importance in the coming years. So it's a long-term project. He signed, if I remember well, for 5 seasons. So
yeah.
Of course, we are not talking about Harry Potter. So Cristiano Giuntoli, according to my sources, is working very hard in terms to be close to the team, to the coach, every day on the pitch, talk with the coach, talk with his staff, talk with the other staff, talk with the players every day. And it's a big upgrade for the management. and I think that we have to believe in his job and in what he will do in the future for Juventus, but in his time, so we have to be patient with him.
New board, new sporting director with a structure, Tognozzi, Manna. The same coach, Massimiliano Allegri. A lot of questions from the people. Why was he reconfirmed before Giuntoli and with Giuntoli? And also, is it the last year of Max Allegri?
Because I think that Juventus believe that is the right coach to come back in the top 4. So you can sell important players, you can buy just opportunities, and Allegri is able to understand how to achieve these big goals to come back in the top 4. And for the reason, I think that Juventus have decided to keep him. Of course, they will analyze his work, his job during this year. But for this reason, because if you can't do important things in terms of market, if you have to be very, very careful in terms of financial aspect, maybe in the idea of the Juventus board, it's better to do this kind of season with Allegri and not with another coach.
Today I heard about, yesterday, Goretzka, Freuler, Gravenberg, Diarra, Habib from Strasbourg, 19 years old. 4 players, midfielders, because you lost Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Franck Kessié. The big question is, why is Juventus looking for midfielders? Why are we not going towards right back, left back, Alexandro, vice captain now? People don't understand why always the midfielder. And then is it possible? Goretzka, Gravenberg.
It's very easy to answer this question. Look, for example, the left side. There we have Ealing, Kostic, Cambiaso, De Sciglio when we come back from his injury, and at the moment Luca Pellegrini is at the Continassa.
Alexandro, Danilo, not on the wing, but they can play eventually also on the left.
So you have 3-4 players that they can play in that role. On the right side, you have Timothy Weah, Cambiaso. At the moment, Sule, because he played as a right back against Milan and Real Madrid. So it's impossible to buy players without sell players. And if you talk about the midfield, we are, according to my info, Juventus. That's true that they can buy a new midfielder, but just if they'll be able to sell at least 2 midfielders. For example, if you sell Zaccaria and, I don't know, McKennie, you are in the right condition to try to take some opportunity. That's the story. But it's impossible right now for Juventus to spend money because you have 14 players in the roster.
So the names, Goretzka, Freuler, Gravenberg, all of them, second part
Thomas
of
Partey. In the
Thomas
second
Partey.
part of the market, or the August market, we see what will happen. But right now, I can say that the just deal on the table is Lukaku Vlahovic swap deal.
Reassure us. One of the last questions about Mercato and also of the video today. Can you reassure us about Federico Chiesa permanence? Will he stay or not? Because this morning I was reading Gazzetta dello Sport already speaking about the contract, blocked renewal, and so on. He stays for sure, or we don't know.
For sure, I'm not sure because Juventus have received a big offer from Aston Villa at the beginning of this transfer window, around 70 million euros, but the players he didn't want to go there. And I think that the problem is the contract aspect, because his contract will expire in 2025.
Yes.
That means that you need rush to find an agreement, because there could be a dangerous topic in the coming weeks. Of course, I think that right now Juventus want to keep him, but if one club from Arabia Saudita will put on the table 80 million euros, what will do? If Liverpool will make an offer in the coming days, what will do? It's impossible to say Chiesa will stay at Juve, Dusan Vlahovic will stay at Juventus. It's impossible. And if I say that, I'm wrong. But we have to analyze what is happening. So there is a talks with Chelsea for Dusan Vlahovic, and I think that if Vlahovic will go out, Juventus will not sell both Chiesa and Vlahovic. I want to be clear about that.
Is there a positive message for the Juventini at the moment? Because I told you, some are saying most depressive mercato. We have the same coach that last year was really controversial, and now he did 2 beautiful friendlies. Okay, but people are still not 100% convinced. So, there is not that excitement, that change. Giuntoli is coming, bam, cambiamo tutto, we change everything. So, what can you give as a message for the Juventini to start the season with fede, with hope?
When you support Juventus, you have to be always ambitious. So that will be a tough season. We know that very well. But maybe it will be a positive season. So I'm looking forward to watch Udinese Juventus, because in that match we understand what Juventus will be able to do in this season. It's really, really important to start in the right way against Udinese and Bologna, because I'm sure that Juventus will start winning the first matches of the season, so they will get the right confidence to compete at high level. So I think that it's really important for the supporter to support Juventus in this phase, because if Juventus will start well, I'm sure that we will cover a very positive season.
Last question, not about Juventus, but about Italian Serie A. According to you, who is doing a beautiful mercato and can do really well? Not who will win Serie A, because you never know, but who operated really well? I see Inter with a fantastic midfielder, and now also with Samardzic. I see Atalanta moving, Milan doing a big mercato. According to you, who is moving well? Who is...
So, that's true that Napoli have lost Kim, but if they will keep both Kvara and Osimhen, I think the Azzurri, they will be the favorite to win the title.
Even with a change of coach?
I think so, because the squad is very good, and they are the Campioni Italia. But I agree with you, Inter are doing a very good market. Now they are signing Sommer from Bayern as a goalkeeper. Then I like so much Frattesi. I'm a Fratteser, and I know that Juventus were very close to sign Frattesi on June, but Juventus decided to keep Rabiot, and with Rabiot, no possibilities to spend much money for another midfield. So Cuadrado, I think that Cuadrado is better than Dumfries, and he will be a starter.
And the Inter fans, they start to suddenly to love Cuadrado.
I think that they will love Cuadrado because he will be a starter. He's the perfect one on the right back for Simone Inzaghi. And maybe they are not very, very competitive at the moment in the attack, because they lost Dzeko and Lukaku. But I don't know, Thuram, if he'll be able to score more goals or not. But I have to say that Inter is a good team. And I see Milan. I don't know at all, because they bought 8 or 9 players. And to be honest, it's unpredictable what they'll be able to do.
Musa is a great signing. I like the player
Really?
Musa.
I really like the midfielder that they bought from
Renders.
He played very well against Juventus, very solid.
Pay attention to Atalanta. Smart. This year they are doing a really smart mercato, I believe.
They are
already
so rich.
with continuity of Gasperini.
They are so rich. They are so
Hey,
rich.
I
But
know.
they are so good in terms of to sell players, because they sell, for example, Boga for around 20 million euros. They sell Højlund for more than 80 million euros. So
Plus, own stadium. They have no debts. They are, when you are managed really, really well, you can do a lot of things. I believe in Atalanta doing great things this season.
Yeah, I agree with you, and they will be in the list to get a place in the Champions League.
Romeo, I believe we covered everything. I'm watching if I forgot the name. You have something that you never said, an exclusivity, or wait next week because it's calm?
No, I don't have exclusive news, because maybe we can try to do a recap, because Juventus will meet Salernitana between Monday, Tuesday, Milan, and then they will discuss about Facundo, Nicolussi Caviglia, and Miretti. Salernitana wants this trio on loan, so maybe they have a good chance to go there. Ake tomorrow or on Tuesday will sign on loan for Udinese. Genoa are pushing a lot to sign on loan with an obligation to buy De Winter at 18 million euros. Luca Pellegrini is pushing to come back at Lazio on loan. Zaccaria, we'll see if during this week he will sign for Monaco. No problem between the clubs, but is still pending is yes or no. So that's it. Juventus, I think that in this week will try to push to sell players, to put out players, because it's really important to give to Allegri the possibilities to work in the right way.
Really last question, a fast question. Attenzione, Romeo. If Dean Huijsen stays at Juve, next gen pending with first team, prediction, how many games can he play with the first team according to you?
14.
14? Yeah.
No, I was joking, but you know that I like him very much since his first match at Juventus in the youth sector. I think that he has a huge potential. He showed that without problem against Milan, with a beautiful penalty, and against Real Madrid as well. It's a very difficult season for him, because maybe with the conference you can play, you can try to find the right spaces. Without conference, I think that Allegri will play with always the same team, the best players that will play. Stop it. But he has a huge potential. I'm very happy that he renewed his contract until 2027. So beautiful future for him. I hope at Juventus.
Give me a prediction. How many games you think? If he stays, of course.
More than 5.
More than 5? I go with 4.
That could be an important news, because that means that you have the defense for the future.
Guys in the chat, Maximo of like, don't forget Romeo Agresti. You can find him on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. Fantastic YouTube channel in Italian. Let's see what the future will be. I will ask you later, Romeo, about your future plans. You know it. You can follow it always with the same name. That makes it easier. Romeo Agresti. I believe also on TikTok now, no?
Yeah, but I want to understand how to cover in the right way the content there. But yeah, I can promise you guys that during the season, maybe with Beppe, if Beppe wants, we'll cover both together our season in English, because I know that my audience wants that, so we'll try to achieve this goal, maybe together.
The exclusive news is not a new player for Juve, but more English content from Romeo Agresti.
100%. 100%.
We sign. Romeo, thank you. Thank you to all the people that watch the channel. Grazie, forza.
Thank you, Beppe. Un abrazo.
Ciao, Romeo.